Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is the presumptive favorite to win in New York's 14th district. She beat the 10-term incumbent Joe Crowley just a few weeks ago. She was interviewed on PBS's Firing Lane with Margaret Hoover, and she actually fielded a question about Israel.
What is your position on Israel?
Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist. I am a proponent of a two-state solution. I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition. And that to me is just where I tend to come from on this issue.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue. You know, for me, I'm a firm believer in finding a two-state solution in this issue, and I'm happy to sit down with leaders on both of these. For me, I just look at things through a human rights lens, and I may not use the right words. I know this is a very honest.
That's very honest, and you're going
issue.
I mean, it's very honest, and when you get to Washington and you're an elected member of Congress, you'll have the opportunity to talk to people on all sides and visit Israel and visit the West Bank. And
absolutely. I also recognize that this is an intensely important issue for people in my district, for Americans across the country. And I think what's at least important to communicate is that I'm willing to listen and that I'm willing to learn and evolve on this issue, like I think many Americans are.
Because of that interview, she has received a little bit of negative attention. She's received some pushback because it seemed like a misstep, or people are framing it as a misstep. And you can see the somewhat of a long pause that she took when Margaret Hoover trying to counter, well, not counter, but she asked her a follow-up question about how, you used the word occupation, can you dive into that a little bit? And she did pause a little bit, and it seemed like she was maybe trying to backtrack a little bit, and she didn't know if she actually used the right word or not. But I don't have a problem with what she said whatsoever. There wasn't a problem with what she said. There shouldn't be a problem with what she said, no matter what you feel about the Israeli and Palestinian issue.
How much you want to bet? Because I've seen a lot of reactions, and I've seen I've seen a few edited videos that kind of like edit it to make it look worse than what it really was. And there's a lot of pushback coming from some right-wing sources. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that maybe there's some other forces that are kind of pushing this too, and other sources. And I would say that they are Democratic establishment sources that are pushing this video.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Because I guarantee you, if she would have said something like, I support Israel unconditionally, there either wouldn't have been a follow-up, or the follow-up question, there would have been no, I guess, kind of extensive, I guess, I don't know. There wouldn't have been an extensive depth diving expedition as far as questioning goes. If she would just said, I support Israel conditionally, I support their right to exist, it'll been an end of story and nobody would have said shit. But it's probably more to do with her saying that Israel is an occupying force. And to me, all that needs to be said, that it is a human rights issue. And the reason why I think the geopolitics doesn't matter, and it doesn't, and like she said, she doesn't really know the geopolitics of the area, which means it's like she needs to learn like how she can get to the solution. But essentially, she's still on the right side of looking at it as a human rights issue, and that's how it's always been looked at.
this is the reason why I don't have a problem with what she said. Well, okay, and I saw a comment from L Train. You know, she said think way too much. She didn't sound like confident in her position. That would be the problem that I had with what she said, but not actually the content. Because she actually said the damn right thing. Israel has been occupying the West Bank since 1967. Israel is currently in violation of international law because of their efforts to continuously build new settlements in the West Bank. Per the Fourth Geneva Convention, it explicitly prohibits states from moving their citizens into occupied lands. That's exactly what Israel has been doing. They have been building more and more and more and more settlements. So in the West Bank, Israeli citizens are free to move, about as they wish. They live under civil rule, but the Palestinians there, they live under military rule. So they are, I guess, encountered with, checkpoints, detainments without charges, curfews. I mean, it is occupied territory. There's no problem with saying that. And actually, it doesn't mean that you're on one side of the fence or the other. It's unfortunate that she didn't feel confident enough to be like, well, yeah, I said the right thing. It is occupied territory. They've been there since they captured it in 1967. It's occupied lands, and that land has not been settled yet because there have been multiple negotiations, but they has not come to any decision. So this shouldn't be an issue, but for some reason it is. She obviously was not prepared for this question, and that's a first because I haven't seen her like that before. I haven't seen her like stumped and like having to rack her brain and be like, okay, hold on, did I say the right thing? I don't want to offend anybody, blah, blah, blah. It seems like she's always prepared and she's always like, yeah, I know exactly what my position is. And I think she does know what her position is on this matter, but that one word, occupation, she got some pushback from the host about that. And she was like, hold on, did I say the right word or not? And you said the right word. It is an occupation. And it doesn't mean that you're on one side of the argument or another.